Well, that's definitely one of our better performances of the year. I'm sure we'll get on to different players throughout the analysis, but honestly, I think that is probably right up there with one of our best performances of the year. I thought the Lille performance for the first 45 minutes too was a sign that we were starting to come back into a level of more regular form for this group of players. I don't think it's any secret that our form has also started to improve with the form of Rogic. Like, he was absolutely superb today, along with a number of other players that could definitely rest their head on the pillow easy tonight, because they actually showed up. I just thought collectively we looked really hungry. We really were after every loose ball for the entire 90 minutes, and we literally just strolled that second half today. Didn't really look like we wanted to score a third goal. It was like, let's just see out the game. And it's nice to just get back to winning ways, as you say, because that would have been 5 games without a win within the 90 minutes if we hadn't got it done in regulation today.
Scott, we've seen a good first half performance on Thursday night. I thought that continued today. I thought the first half we were much, much better, just moving the ball so much quicker, playing at a higher intensity, creating chances. What a difference.
The first half was definitely the Celtic of old. Very, very nice to watch. And we've got a lot of our best players back now, so it's no coincidence. The first 45 minutes for me, like, you're seeing build-up play from guys like Rogic, Edouard's. I don't think Edouard's fully there yet. I think it's obvious to see that he needs a bit of game time to get back to where we know he can be, but some of the build-up play was exactly what we're looking for. We're seeing balls, direct balls from, the back four at certain times, through the middle of the park. Sometimes it's too risky, sometimes we're losing the ball, but when it works, because Aberdeen were committing men forward. They were pressing us, and we were doing the same to them when we were out of possession. I think it really worked for us. It did dip off the second half. 60, 65 minutes on, we were a shadow of the team, and I feel that we were really, really happy to see out the win, which we did. So fair play to us. I think game management is something we've been lacking recently. And today, okay, it maybe wasn't the best spectacle after 65, 70 minutes, but we won the game and we managed the game. And again, that's just maybe a bit of maturity for the squad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was important today after half-time. Being 2-0 up on Thursday against a better team, albeit, but going on to lose the 2 goals really under the cost of the second half, and it did drop off, but we will get to that. Chris, we opened the scoring. One absolutely beautiful strike for Ryan Christie. Links up with Rogic coming in off that right-hand side, and it's as soon as it leaves his foot, it's goal-bound.
Oh, that was probably goal of the season so far. I think from any Celtic player, I can't remember a more memorable goal. There was a wide-angle replay of that goal, and you just see the intelligence of both Christie and Rogic. So Christie comes out, having been kind of more in-field. Him and Rogic swap places, and it's just a perfect ball. And then Christie has a number of options, but we've seen it many times before. Too often, he's put it in row Z, but not today. Like, Joe Lewis just had no chance with that. That was an absolutely stunning goal. I just thought, that really helped settle us because Aberdeen had those early chances with Cosgrove. To be fair, Edouard probably should have put us in front. I think 2-3 matches down the line, Edouard buries that, no problem. You probably dinks it over Lewis without even thinking about it. But given he's been out and not potentially as match sharp, but that was just a perfect start to the game. Really, given the balance of play, the game had started to settle, so we needed something to break it open. And what a strike! Like, just absolutely stunning. You're not saving that. I don't care what goalie you are.
Aye, that was superb, Scott. As I said already, like, you can just tell the way we're moving the ball about in the first half, creating chances like Edouard's chance that Chris has just mentioned. We look a threat, we look a danger, we look a proper Celtic team with a purpose going forward, and then less than 5 minutes later, we get the second goal, and it's brilliant for Tom Rogic to dig out a cross.
When Edouard plays the ball in, I thought he'd kind of put too much weight on it. I actually didn't think it was a great ball. Rogic's, running away for goal, and has somehow managed to just lob it beautifully over. Is it Joe Lewis? Is it Joe Lewis? Over Joe Lewis, right? Nearly gets a finger on it. And I'm going to say it's not quite as easy as it might look because Considine won it. It was Considine who tried to clear it. Elyounoussi had to come in front of him, and he smashed it into the net.
Almost like a scissor kick motion.
It was a scissor kick, and he sent himself into the post as well at the same time. A brilliant goal, an unbelievably brilliant goal. I think you've got to lay it. I mean, good, nice ball in for Edouard, but you've got to put it all at the feet of Tom Rogic. The goal was coming from nowhere. I mean, for him to send that in first time and put it at the back post, absolutely beautiful. And that guy has been a revelation since coming back into the squad. Christie as well, the energy that guy has, he's back to his best. That's the Christie that we know for last season. He's everywhere on the park. He's just a Duracell battery, that guy. And it comes off. His first goal, I just want to touch on that, right, because you just got your chance to weigh in on it.
Aye, on you go. Yeah.
That shot could have been half as good and it would have still went in. It could have been half as good. It was so well placed, and Joe Lewis was miles off it. Unbelievable to watch.
He's a big guy as well, Joe Lewis. He's a big guy.
He's a good goalkeeper. He's a good goalkeeper, but it's irrelevant. Could have 3 goalkeepers, I would have still went in.
No saving that. Chris, as Scott said there, Edouard's pass forces Rogic wider than he would have liked, but he knows that if he can dink that ball to the back post over the goalkeeper, if MD's in there, and Elyounoussi was, they've got an open goal. And it was good to see Elyounoussi on the score sheet again. I think he looks a lot more comfortable since he's been back in his natural position out wide.
Yeah, and it's further complemented by the fact that we've stuck with the 4-2-3-1 formation, or even maybe a 4-3-3 hybrid almost between that 4-2-3-1, right? Christie's got the license to come in, and so does Elyounoussi. So sometimes we can slip into that 4-3-3 formation from the 4-2-3-1, and it is working. But that's the difference that Rogic makes for me over Cham in that position in the 10, and maybe even Christie in the 10. Just his ability to execute a final ball. And just think about the assists he's had in the 2 games he's played against Aberdeen, because he didn't obviously start the game against Lille. But beautiful, crisp passes right into the feet, allows the striker or the forward to just get it out. One touch, and Griffiths buries that one the other week. And then again, today, he's just slipping it in. Obviously, Christie makes that goal from nothing, really, in the sense that
easiest assist in the world. He's played a 5-yard pass.
But the assist for the second goal, because to Scott's point, Edouard does slightly overplay it. So the technique just to dink that to the back post. Elyounoussi high on confidence, willing to gamble, get to the back post, get to the greasy spots, and buries that into the roof of the net. And to be honest, it was game over. Like, Aberdeen were never coming back from 2-0 down after 23 minutes.
I don't know if this is right, but see, in my head, I think Rogic's had a huge part to play in maybe every goal we've scored since he's come back into the team. I remember thinking during the week, Rogic has been at least a significant part in nearly every goal we've scored.
Well, not on Thursday though, eh? Because he wasn't. Didn't he start on Thursday?
Well, I just thought a lot of shite, so no Thursday. after Thursday.
We'll keep it right, mate. We'll keep it right.
You keep it right, Paul.
Aye, Scott, you've mentioned Edouard already, and he's not at his scintillating best. He's not in top form, but you can just tell the difference that he makes to us, even when he's not at his absolute best, as Chris touched on with the chance on maybe a few weeks down the line, he slots that, but he just makes such a difference. He's not been at his best even before he was out with the COVID stuff, but I just feel like we look a lot more fluid. His movement at the top of the pitch allows us to create chances.
He's obviously not got 100% fitness, right? But and that chance, to be honest, that's his bread and butter. That's the kind of goals that Edouard scores all the time. Makes a brilliant run, and he puts it right at Joe Lewis, to be honest with you. And even I think the first one is not a good save. It just comes off Joe Lewis. The second one is a great save. You're expecting to be able to put that ball anywhere and for it to go in, but Joe Lewis just gets himself into the right position. His hold-up play, Edouard, is brilliant. And it's not just that, like, the opposition know how much a threat the guy is. So he draws more defenders, which gives space for other players. I think that's what, even if Edouard's not at his best, it's the threat of Edouard that sometimes allows other players to have a much better game. So really important, and really hoping that he gets back up to 100% fitness and form ASAP.
70 minutes for him today, so that should help him. Chris, into the second half, we talked about game management earlier. We started well. I thought the first 5 minutes of the second half, we looked as if we were going to put the foot down. Beaton's slack on the ball, around about the 50-minute mark. And then there's a period for about 60 to 75 where we did have to do some real defending. There was some last ditch stuff in there. Aberdeen were throwing everything at it, trying to get back in the game, but we managed to keep them out.
Definitely, and I think Duffy should be really pleased with how he played today. Look, he knows he's not been at the races. He didn't play well against Rangers. He didn't play well really at Pittodrie last weekend, but I thought he was much better on Thursday night, and I thought he was, in fact, even better today, to be honest. I know it's against lesser opposition, but I did think that he was much, much better today. He's definitely a far better player in a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 formation. He does not do well being part of a back three, and I think that's been clearly obvious in the games where we have really struggled when we've played 3-5-2. So I thought he was excellent today. And to see out the game, and overall, I thought Brown and McGregor were also much, much better today. I thought Brown and McGregor really controlled the middle of the park today. And that really allowed Elyounoussi, Edouard, and Christie to have that freedom in the last third, where we did just look so much more dangerous. The interchanging of positions and play. And then just that's where Rogic is at his finest, where he's got space and some time to pull the strings. So overall, just a much, much better performance today. And probably since the second half at Pittodrie, we've started to see some signs that the team is coming back to life. And I think Lennon deserves some credit too. I just want to say that he picked, in my opinion, the correct team in the last two games. And he's rewarding players who've come into the team and have played really well. So I think we've been quick to blame him, sometimes rightly so, but I think he's, you could be really pleased with the decisions he's made today with the team selection and substitutions as well.
He's definitely picked the right team today. He must have been watching the starting 11 prediction again.
How did I know you were going to take that
one up for you?
Yeah, good for you, Paul.
Scott, defensively, the only thing I want to say about Duffy today is on the ball sometimes. I mean, he's just not a ball player, is he? He's not a ball player. He just needs to forget about that and just defend and get the ball to the players that can handle the ball.
But here's the thing, right? And I'm no tactical genius, but I think the opponent, Aberdeen know he's not a ball player, right? And so they're closing off all the passing options. They're more than happy for him to have the ball because they know 9 times out of 10, if they shut most of the out balls, he's going to make a mistake. And he was sometimes trying to pass it from, 30 yards away from our goal to 20 yards away from their goal, trying to find the striker.
Straight balls. Straight balls.
Don't get me wrong, he's actually pinged a few from the right-hand side over to Laxalt. Brilliant ball, right? He has played some brilliant balls today. But I think Aberdeen are happy for him to have the ball. If it was Aya, there'd be a bit of a press on him because they know that Aya can find a pass and is technically brilliant with the ball at his feet. So I think that's just what we need to... That's maybe something he needs to work on because it's probably not something he's had to deal with at Brighton. So he needs to, find a Scott Brown or find a Callum McGregor. More times than not, he's trying to turn. But if he doesn't have something on or even a risky pass on, he'll go back to the goalkeeper. And by the way, just touching on that, sometimes I felt we're getting the ball we're almost breaking. And if there's sometimes a pass in the middle, and by in the middle I'm talking about 10 yards away. Maybe like Rogic or Elyounoussi get a man 5, 6, 7 yards behind them. And Frimpong's deciding not to pass the ball into the middle of the park, which is where you want the ball to be, because as soon as you get the ball in the middle, Scott Brown's going to be near, or Callum McGregor's going to be near, or you can give it right back to the man that gave it to you. And we're just deciding to go back. And it was only really the second half that I saw that, but I think confidence just dipped, and I think it may be down to Thursday. We're a bit tired for Thursday potentially. Or maybe it was just a change in game plan. It might honestly just have been, let's not make any mistakes here.
And don't forget, we're no wins in 4, so the team aren't in top confidence. So obviously, as the game goes on, there might be a wee bit of sort of instability. They're thinking we need to win here. We're not in a good form. So I think the game management and sort of seeing it out more seamlessly, it'll come with results as well.
Aye, and I think Aberdeen were brilliant. To be honest, the second half, I did not know where they get their energy from. I don't know where they got. It was just a completely different game, totally different game. They were pressing us very high at the park. They won everything in the middle of the park.
We didn't win many second balls in the second half at all.
Almost none. Anytime we were, it just became, route one. just get rid of the ball. We couldn't hold the ball up, so even when Ayeti and Griffiths came on, we weren't getting much luck there at all. So Aberdeen really came into the game, and I think we were really hanging on. They probably deserved a goal, at least. I think if they get one, we'd have been really shitting ourselves.
I think as I say, even about that 70, 75 minute mark was where we had to weather a wee bit of a storm. And that was key to seeing the game out and getting a clean sheet. Chris, we've discussed Tom Rogic. Does he keep his place against Sparta Prague on Thursday?
Like that should be the first name on Lennon's team sheet. Like really, he is such, when he is fit, he is our best player in the 10 at the club, hands down. I don't care what anyone says. I love Christie for his work ethic, and his work ethic off the ball in particular is something I really love about him. And he's got a goal in him, right? He's probably going to give us 15 to 20 goals from midfield. But the number of assists that Rogic will give you, just because in and around the box, he can thread those passes that just absolutely cut defenses open. I want to just give a quick shout out to Beaton again today. Like, I know he had that mistake in the second half, but man, he's just like, he just walks around with a cigar around in his mouth. He's Mercurial back there. I just love the way he plays, and he is like the ultimate professional. He might be out because of injury or he's not starting, but he never lets you down. And like, that is the type of football pro that you need as part of your squad. And anytime he is asked a job, he delivers. And I know I wasn't on the post-match, but I just have to give a shout out to Diego Laxalt as well. That boy is an absolute player.
Different class.
You can and like you mentioned it, I think in the game review on Thursday, Paul, you can tell when a player's a player. That boy is fantastic. And if Celtic are going to try to snap him up, that's going to cost us some serious coin, but he would be worth it in my opinion, because just the way he does the 1-2s, he drives us up the park. His final ball, sure, a little bit like Frimpong, who I did actually think was much better with his final ball today as well. So just so many positives, but yeah, just overall formation is right. That's got to be the team that starts. And I think part of our drop off in the last 20 minutes, Paul, is we played 6 games in 2 weeks.
I know.
That's a lot of football, right? And a lot of those players have played key minutes in all of those games. So it's a lot of football, right? And we're back at it again. Thursday night, huge game against Sparta. So,
yeah. Scott, 35 cup games unbeaten. The final against Hearts repeated last season. Well, I say last season's. This is last season's. The season before Scottish Cup final where we won the treble. You fancy it? Fancy is in the final?
Big time. There's no way Hearts could be as big a test as what Aberdeen were today. I think Hearts are okay. I mean, I just think Hearts always get a result against Hibs. I think that's why they're in the final. You're going to touch on that?
No, I just want to say always. I can't believe how doesn't matter the circumstances. Hibs always seem to find a way to get beat.
I really don't think we're going to have half as a test as what we did today. So fancy is big time. It'd be good to see how good a performance Hearts get from Craig Gordon against us. He'll be desperate to have another man in the match performance. But I really don't see us not winning it, which would be the quadruple treble, which is
bonkers,
unbelievable to even think about. It was almost an afterthought, wasn't it? Quadruple treble.
Aye.
I mean, with all the crisis that was going on at the club, and we're forgetting that we're 2 games away from a quadruple treble, albeit from last year. An unbelievable achievement if we can pull it off, which I would assume that we will.
Chris, who's your man of the match today?
He's from Australia. That's all I need to say.
Scott, Rogic. You agree?
Tom Rogic, amazing.
Sponsors gave it to Christie.
I know, but they were always going to get to Christie because of the goal. I would. Fucking hell. Did I thought about this before I came on? No, I'll probably give it to Christie. Do you know what? I'll probably give it to Christie. Yeah. He's worked right off the ball. Rogic is pure class, and I think we really, as long as we can keep him at this form rate, he's got to stay in the team. I agree with Chris 100%. But Christie was just so important for us today. You've got to give it to him. I think if we don't get the first goal, if we don't score in the first half, which we've seen Celtic do time and time again, we play brilliant, but we don't score, and then we wait till the team tires and we get goals. If that had happened today, it would have been a completely different game. But we came out the traps, and Christie was part of that, so got to give it.
Aye, absolutely. I'm going to go Rogic. I think going back to 4-2-3-1 and him coming back into the team in these types of games, these domestic games, has really, really helped us. That's all we've got time for today. Like the video, comment with your own thoughts below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you shortly for Twitter reaction. Cheers.